Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Raw Politics. One of you asked me to comment about the Donald Trump versus Elon Musk fallout, whether it is something that should worry the Republicans or if it was just minor differences that will ease off very soon. Well, let me begin by looking at what brought these two powerful men together. And when I say powerful men, I mean, Elon Musk is the richest human being today. And Donald Trump, by virtue of being the president of United States of America, is the most powerful politician, the most influential human being alive. And so this is like a battle of the titans. But is it a real battle that should scare those who believe in the Republicans' dream? Or, like I said, is it something that will fizzle off very soon? Well, let us begin by looking into what brought these two people together. Elon Musk was a Democrat until very recently. He used to donate to the Democratic Party and support their agendas. Actually, he was their favorite scientist, and most Democrats used to buy electric vehicles, that is Tesla. On the other hand, Republicans were not against Elon Musk in any way, even when he was a Democrat, only that they didn't care. But then it seems that Democrats started to embrace the far left policies, things that Elon Musk did not like. And so, because Elon Musk would not vie as president, since he was not born in the United States, he supported the only person who was giving a reassurance to take people back to normalcy, and that is Donald Trump. And he used a lot of money, over 200 million. He gave it his all. If you followed the campaigns, Elon Musk did not spare any effort to help Donald Trump win. In fact, in one of the tweets after their disagreement, he said that without him, Donald Trump would have not won the elections, and that even the control of Congress would have gone to Democrats. And that is debatable, but if there's one thing you cannot take away from all this is the fact that Elon Musk actually played a very pivotal role in helping Donald Trump get his second term. So what brought them together was ideological. Elon Musk disagreed with the policies of the far left that had taken over the Democratic Party. And so he came and joined Trump with the belief that Trump will bring back normalcy. However, it appears that there are two areas that did not go well. Apart from the fact that Elon Musk's term as the head of DOGE was coming to an end, and the only way he would get a continuance was if the Congress allowed him to continue serving as a special government employee, maybe through a request from Donald Trump. Even though that was the case, and actually when he left in a very normal manner. He left in a very peaceful manner. He was at the Oval Office. He said very nice things about Trump, what they have managed to accomplish together, and that he would be a frequent visitor and will still continue to help Donald Trump whenever possible. And Trump also showered him with a lot of praises, etc. So from the look of things, it didn't appear like they had some issues. However, according to sources, there are two things that Elon did not like a lot. One was business-wise, and another one was personal. The business part of it was that Elon perhaps expected Trump to help with his electric vehicle business, that is the Tesla, by maybe giving them subsidies or just insisting there is a mandate. I think Trump was not going to go for that. He had made it very clear. But there is no problem Elon being hopeful, considering he contributed a lot and helped Donald Trump become president, so to say. But I think Elon was willing to let that fly. Like I said, two things might have caused this fallout. The fact that Trump did not continue with the EV mandate, and did not favor Tesla in any way in terms of legislations. That could be one of the reasons. And people argue that this is something that Elon could live with. And so it was not a big deal. Though business-wise, there is no harm in him looking out for his businesses and the shareholders. But what is said to have caused the fallout was the decision by Donald Trump to withdraw the nomination of Gerald Isaacman. Now, Gerald Isaacman is an ally of Elon Musk that had been nominated to be NASA's administrator, somebody to run NASA. And according to even the critics of Elon Musk, they are saying that he was extremely qualified and somebody who was going to make NASA very great. But after Elon left the White House, after the farewell speech, it appears that Trump changed his mind and pulled the nomination of Mr. Jared. And this did not go well with Elon Musk, it is said. And so he erupted. And he said a few things on Twitter here and there, and I will not go into a lot, but he just made it clear that he does not support the big, beautiful bill. That is a reconciliation bill that Trump is having to reconcile his budget and the budget under Biden to ensure that America still continue to function and also to avoid going into recession. But Elon doesn't see it like that. Elon sees it as a spending bill that is going against everything that Doge stood for. And remember, Doge was to ensure that government spending is cut to the acceptable minimums. And according to Elon, there was a lot that could have been done instead of having a bill that was spending more or raising the debt ceiling. But then others argue that that bill was practical. Elon is ideological. This is what is supposed to happen. Trump is looking at what can actually happen. And so I think on that, they might be pulling from different, they might be looking at the same thing from different views. One is saying this bill is a glass half full. Another one is looking at it as glass half empty. And so those are differences. But what I think Elon was did not like very well was the idea that Donald Trump pulled the nomination of his ally. Because then that was telling him that Donald Trump was now getting rid of him and anybody who was close to him. And the tweets that followed and the things that Donald Trump shared on social media and Elon, things escalated very fast. But what is my opinion? What do I make out of all this? Personally, I have a different view. I think, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but I'm looking at this as a way of saving Elon Musk. Because you see, the main customers of the Tesla vehicle, the electric vehicles that Elon Musk is known for, are the people who are into environmental conservation and green energy. And most of them happen to be members of the Democratic Party. And so if Elon is still with Trump, whom they really hate with a passion, they will hate anything that Elon produces. We saw even violence against Tesla dealers. People would even ban Teslas. The sale of Tesla cars went down drastically because the main clientele were Democrats, and they now had political differences with Elon Musk because Elon Musk's Doge was now looking at the things that Democrats have been pushing and cutting those and cutting resources and funding for such things. And these are things that Democrats did not take lightly. They became very agitated and called Elon Musk so many names and criticized him as they could. In fact, like I told you, they went to the extremes of even banning Teslas, even vandalizing Tesla dealerships and burning down the cars. The sales of Tesla went down. And considering that there is also a Chinese company that is doing very well in terms of production of electric vehicles, Tesla was facing a serious challenge. And Elon Musk continued support for Trump was going to just make things worse. So in my opinion, I think this is a strategic move. It is a retreat where for the sake of your business, you pull out. Because remember, anytime you mix business with politics, you end up losing one side that hates whatever you stand for. And I think Elon Musk had risked enough, and it was time to find a way to strategically revive him. And by having this conflict, I think some Democrats, if they were to sustain it for a while, some Democrats might look at it and say, oh, he has abandoned their enemy, Trump, and they might welcome him back. And this will improve sales. I think that, in my opinion, could be what is going on. If it is not about trying to salvage Elon Musk, then they just differed on principles. Somebody wants the bill to be like this. Another one is saying this is the practical way to do it. And maybe also the issue of that appointment. That is what I wanted to share, ladies and gentlemen. In my opinion, this could be a plan to save Elon Musk's businesses. Let me know what you think about this issue. Otherwise, if you found value in this video, like it and share it with friends. And please don't forget to subscribe so that you're notified whenever we produce similar videos. See you in the next video.